we're going to be looking at how we plan and manage costs. Please, if you're not on mute, please kindly mute yourself so um, we don't withdraw. So the idea is that in some cases, one of the very need of the controlling module is able to plan and manage cost within the GL space, not managing cost as per um, going down to production costing and all that. No, just within the GL space, fixed cost basically. And we have a scenario here where, as you can see, SOX had a budget. They had the expense category, they had the planned expenses for the period, the actual expense, and the variance. However, and of course, they have the variance percentage for this project. And they have said that they want to start managing this on SAP. They don't want to be using Excel to be tracking these transactions. So they have brought it up to you, the finance team, to work on it. As the BA, or the job of the BA here will be to gather requirements on how this works. So, of course, discuss with the key stakeholders, get all the expense categories, understand the budget requirements, know if it's a legal requirement or if it's just for management use, and gather all the information. All the information I've gathered, they are giving us sample documents. Now we want to plan for this, basically. Please just give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so let me answer this question. If we create a dedicated GL account for down payment, so we can put, of course, like I said, down payment is another route, right? And it's something I don't think we'll pick up in this class. There's a lot in SAP. We can't finish all the configs, but let's focus on the core if we have time, because we still have asset accounting, we still have banking, we still have a lot of things to do. And this class is not going to stay ad infinitum. We need to at some point. So I try to manage your expectations. Then hopefully when we have time, like I said, one of the things we're going to do in what we're trying to do in the internship is now we have all the time. We can now start picking things one after the other. But fortunately, we can't do everything in this session. But yes, you have a dedicated GL that picks up advance payments, like a reconciliation account GL too. So we have this plan. If, for example, we don't have, I think they're all good. So we have this plan. How do we take this information and put it in SAP? That's what we have for today. First things first, we need to look at the concept of cost center, because what this is telling us is managing planned cost, right? And we can't do this without having GLs and cost center to manage the expense categories. So when you hear about budget, basically hear about costing, and you have your actual and the variance, and have your cost, your planned cost. So this is the planned cost, or what we call expense. How do we now? So because we have planned expense, we need to have cost centers to manage this planned expense, and of course the actual. So how does that flow? First thing, we need to look at the concept of cost centers. Why am I going to the old config? Sorry. So I'm going to go here. Just pay attention, because you will complete this task. Now, if I go back to my SPRO to continue our configuration, so to set up your cost centers, you go to controlling, you go to cost center accounting. Then first things, you need to check if it's activated. We activated it in controlling area, but you can just check. Look for your SOX, select it, and go to activate components. You see cost center component active. So you need to make sure yours is active. If not, you won't be able to run cost center accounting. So go back. I want to be very. Then the next thing you need to check is we can create like an enterprise organization where we create manage cost centers for. I like using the master data piece. So if you go to master data and cost centers, we will define a cost center group and make sure all our cost centers fall within that group. And we can also check a cost center category and see, I think those are the basic things we need to do here. So if you go to define cost center group, I already have one, but I'll create another one. So I have this one. So put the group name, click on enter. It's telling me I have one. So I say, yes. So let me just show you. Once you put the name, you come here and you put the description and you say, okay. So it's very simple. Most times, let me show you the one I have. Most times, if you want to create, let me just create another one. So let me remove this one and say test. So somebody will not say I didn't create cross center. Come here, you say test cost center group. Then you say okay. Okay. Then I've created the group. After creating the group, you can look at cost center categories. These are service, development, production, logistics, blah, 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 blah. This means that you will want to have actual revenues and, planned secondary cost, primary cost, and the rest of them. But this is what we have as default, and this is fine. So if you go back, then the next thing is, how do I create my cost centers? Now, what's the idea of cost center? Let me explain a little bit further briefly. We don't have time. So if we have, for example, say, so that it sits very well, so we don't have any confusion. So let's say, for example, we have GL and we have cost centers. What is a cost center? It's just a place where you track cost and is used for reporting, planning, and managing cost. Let's say, for example, you have a cost center you call operations. Yeah. And this is cost centers are objects that they rely on the GLs to receive information. So they're just objects that cannot, they are dependent on GLs. So the idea is that if you want to have another level of reporting outside GL, so for example, I can also have an operational, like we have in the system, I have an operational GL, and I also have operations cost center. What happens really is in organizations, they might, you can track all the entries that goes into operational GL. You can say, okay, I want the GL is enough. So in some companies, they will tell you GL is enough for me to track my expense. However, in some other companies, they will say we need to track it further to cost centers. So why would they want to do that? Just for flexibility of reporting, because it's easy to report on cost centers than GL will be much more cumbersome. Because if I want to check in and out of GL, I have to go to debit side, credit side. GL doesn't run variance, so I can't do much with my GL. But if you want to get flexibility of reporting, then you can see that at the cost center level where you have planned, actual, and variance. It's only cost center that can give you that flexibility. So what happens for the GL to actually plan and do actual cost? The GL for the cost center to plan and do actual costing, it needs to receive information from the GL. So all these transactions you're seeing here will also flow to the GL, and that would be the actual. Meanwhile, in the GL, we'll plan. So in the GL, we plan the cost. However, how the cost will feed into the cost center, it will feed from the GL. So when we plan cost in GL and we receive the information, when we plan cost in cost center and we receive the information in GL, we will now have planned and actual. So actual is what we actually post to the GL. Planned is something we do only in the cost center. We don't plan cost in GL. We plan cost only in the cost center, and we do actual, we receive the actual cost from the GL. So that flow is where, so once information flows, the system is now will now pick both the actual and both the planned and the actual and give you a variance. That's the relationship GLs have with cost centers. So without mapping the GL with the cost center, the information will not flow from the GL into the cost center. So you only have planned, you won't have actual. So what actually is the actual is the cost that flows from the GL to the cost center. That's your actual. Then the planned is what you actually go there and plan yourself. It doesn't flow from you have to plan it yourself. So if you have any questions, you can put. So that's just explaining the concept. So now we have created a cost center group. We now have to tell the system what are our cost centers. That's the next place we're going. What are cost centers? From I think I've removed the Excel stuff I opened. So let me just open this. So from what we have here, our cost centers are this: employee cost, office cost, marketing cost, traveling cost. Okay. Now let's go to the system and create one. I'll create one, then you do the rest as your. As how do we create cost centers? That's the next thing after creating our cost center group. We do creating of cost center happens at the end user screen. I'll also show you the steps. So let's go. So instead of financial accounting, we'll go to controlling, cost center accounting, master data, cost element, individual, and edit cost element. Now, this is where we are. So cost center is mapped with the GL because this is where we create GL. It's also the same place you create GL is the same place you create cost centers. So one of the cost center we want to create is employee cost. So I'm going to create that as 4002. So 4002, I will say create because cost is under expense. I'll select here. Now you see what I'm selecting. I'm not selecting balance sheet. I'm not selecting non-operation. I'm selecting primary cost or revenues. So that's what we use for cost centers when we're creating GL for cost centers. Then put this, it will go under expense. Then my cost center is employee cost. I'll copy this and paste it. Then go to control data. For us to track this, let's use sort key. Then go to bank and interest. For field status group, let's use something that is cost related. So we have cost accounts. And then something we also need to check. We need to be able to signify more that this is a cost. So if you come down after creating the sort key, if you come down, you will see cost element category. This is the difference between creating a normal GL and a cost center GL. You must enter the cost element category. In SAP, you have two cost elements, primary cost elements and secondary cost elements. Primary cost elements are GLs. They are interfaced with the GLs. Secondary cost elements are used to transfer cost between different cost objects. That you will find a lot when we go into product costing. So in our secondary cost elements, what we're doing is primary costs and reducing expense. If we're creating a revenue cost, that's a cost center that is like a revenue, we use this. If we're creating an accrual or deferral or sales deduction like rebate and discount, we can use all these other options. But what we're creating is primary cost. So we use primary cost, which is for basic operational, for expenses. Then we save. So I've created employee costs. So I've created a cost center. right? Also, we need to also check that. So if you go back to SPRO, we need to check that. Remember when we're doing our configuration, we need to also check that cost center, profit center integrated. So if you go to FI, go to financial accounting global settings, go to ledgers, go to integration of controlling with finance. We need to also check this. So define document types for posting is there. Just, I think we have done this anyway. Mapping variance is there. We're not doing anything here, just to check. Check default values. They're all there. These are company code. So we need to check if our company code is here. Is here. So I feel everything is good. We did this one, we did CO anyway. Check ledger for CO version. Also check. These are just checks. But if it's not there, please, you need to create. We did all this when we did CO. Okay, so we have set up the GL, we have done, we have checked. The next thing we need to check is, now we need to be able to map the cost center and the GL. There's the next thing now. Now we have we have created a GL, we have created a cost center, and we need to tell the system, for this cost center we have created, let's there be this relationship. Let's map it. But when I open, you'll see what it feels like. So if you go to, let me see if it's here. It should be here. Ledgers, integration, account determination. Okay, let me just go to controlling. Not stress you. Where is my? So I think let's go to controlling, go to profit center accounting, go to assignment object for profit centers. Now I'm looking for basic data, master data. Okay. Assignment for this. No. Where are you now? Just okay. Actual posting. Maintain automatic account assignments. Let me see this. This with revenue element. Somebody is there. Somebody is there. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's where we should be. So let me give this person 2 minutes. It's not supposed to be long, but so we're supposed to go here and make sure that mapping is done. Okay, let me do something very slash, and why do I like forgetting SM12 slash O, who is that? 39. I will not stay there for it. So let me just do this fast. So this is, yeah, so I've put the person that is there. Go to search. You can see the person is sitting somewhere in my transaction. So what I can do is just very fast, because you want to be sure, and let me tick all of them. Delete. So let me now go back very fast, because this person might be coming back for me. If I go here, then you see my cost element. So I will map my company code. So if I go to source, I don't have any company code. I don't have anything here. So I'm supposed to map my company code in my, so I'll say new entries, socks. Then what's my primary cost element? 4002. Yeah. Then if I have a cost center, I can now map it with here, cost center. So this is fine. I can just map these two and save and say, okay, let me go back. I need to create one cost center more. Okay. So I think I'm done now. The person can go back. Let me check if my cost center is tied to my, just a minute. So check the master data, cost centers, cost center group. You change cost center group, which is my, okay. Let me just create socks. So I'm just going back to my, let me go to, I can now add a cost center here. Okay. So I need to actually create this. Okay. So let me save this. So we have created the GL. I think the next thing is to create the cost center. So let me just create that first. We still need to come back and map that. Okay. So after creating the GL and doing the integration, let me go to this guy. So we have created the GL. The next thing is to create the cost center. So if you come to cost center here, go to individual, then go to KS01. Then here you create the cost center. The cost center is employee cost. So you remember we created a GL called employee cost, and we also create a cost center called employee cost. So employee cost. So just say employ. This is a code. Employ. Then come here. You can say it starts from the first of, how did you start from 0101? So the date this cost center will be active from January. Click on enter. So here you can say employee cost. Here you can say employee cost. Here you put the person responsible. Then here you put the cost center category. So we can put this is for, put management, it's administration. Here you can say hierarchy, so cost center group. Here you can say business area. If we created one at the initial part of what we did when we started this class. And look here, let's see, should be socks, I don't know. Socks. Then we can save. It wants a profit center, so select here. We already have a profit center. Yeah, oil and gas. The land profit center some days back. So I've created a cost center, employ. So what do I have now? Let me summarize. I have, so that you can understand, I have a GL 4001 called employee cost. I have a cost center called employ. So what do? I need to integrate these two. So that transaction code I went to and removed somebody, I need to go back and finish up that stuff I did. So if I go back to my SPRO, I hope the person is not back and crucify me, and go back to costing. controlling, profit center accounting, actual costing, maintain. The person is not back. Then select source. So you can see here now I can put a cost center to map it, the GL with the cost center. So I can see my employee. So I have employee, cost, and employee. It's a cost center. Then if I want a profit center to be mapped automatically, so what this means is that anytime I select this GL, this cost center is automatically mapped to it. Then I save, say okay. Awesome stuff. So I've created the GL, created the sub cost center, made sure done the integration with automatic account assignment. The next thing is how do we now plan? How do we plan? Like I said, if you check my example, I said the first thing we do in cost center is to plan. Then we are going to see actual. Then we are going to see the variance. How do we plan for cost? So the plan for cost can still go through the same transaction code. Check. So I'm done with this. So you can check planning. So this is cost center. You can see planning. We have KPO4. We used to have KPO6, but unfortunately it has been removed. So we need to use, there is another part, but that will involve us to, that's another, sorry, we used to have KPO6, but because we're in S4, it has been removed, but it's still in use. But there's another part that will involve us to connect to some other servers, but let's just use the KPO6, but you won't see it on the list. So remember that the GL you used to plan is KPO6. You'll note it down because you won't see it. It's no longer in use, but it's still active. Now, remember when we were doing our controlling area, we had a planned version we created. Then we want to plan from January to December for this cost, but you can only plan for 1 month, but we're planning for a year. Here you select the cost center you're planning for. Cost center you're planning for. Or if you leave it in group, it will select all the cost centers there. I only have one cost center there, so I can leave this, but let me remove this and just select the cost center I'm planning for. This is employee. And I can say use form-based and go to overview screen. Okay. I need to select the cost element, which is the GL. Let me come here. The cost element, which is my GL for employee, that's 4,200 employee cost. Then I go to overview screen. Remember, once you put the KPO6, it's going to bring cost element, activity input planning. So the question is, what was the cost for the year? If you go back here, you can see the planned cost was 139 this. So I want to copy this. I want you to see exactly, to see the effect, 1355090. So let me go back, 1355090. Remember, anything I put here is for 1 year from first to this, right? If I want to see for 12 months, let me see what I can do to make it 12 months so that we can see exactly what we're seeing here. Because if we do for only 1 month, to split it up. So if I say this divided by times 12, let me just check that on my own. Where is that calculator? We are looking for this thing sometimes. You won't see them in your phone. 1355090 times 12. So if you're doing yours, please do times 12. Anything you see there times 12. So 16 million 261,000. Enter. So this is my planned cost. If you want to see monthly, if I wanted to use only 1,3, I would have used this for 1 month. Do you guys understand? If I wanted to only do 1,355, I would have just used period from 8 to 8, that's August, and just do only August. Right? Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I wanted to use this example for only 1 month, you see, it actually did a year and it splitted it across. But this is for something, this is planned expense, this is for something else, for wages. But what I'm saying is that if I wanted to use this for only 1 month, please just use this actual. Where is my Hmm. Okay, so if you check here, we actually had wages planned every month until we about, because of if you have the time, but this is what we're focusing on now. So if I wanted to see this result for only 1 month, I would have come here and say from August 8 to 8. But I want to use this for 1 year and see how 1 month looks like. So you can multiply that figure by 12. So this is what I have. My distribution, I need to check. This should be, I want it to be equal distribution. I don't have a fixed consumption, so I'll just save. So this is planned. If you want to check, if we go to period screen here, just by the side, you will see that the system has already divided that 1 year into, so for every month I have planned that I'm going to spend 1,355,090 US dollars. That's my plan. Every month I'm spending this amount of money. So we have planned our cost. So this is how we do cost planning. If I go to the over screen again and use this tab and just say period screen here, you can just see anytime you can just see the breakdown if you want. So everything has been planned for the year, but you put the lump sum here. The system will divide whatever you put here by 12. So after planning, the next question is, how do we now have actual costs? Before I have actual costs, let's see the report for planning. Let's see how let's see the result of the report for planning. You can use, the T code is here, but it will take me a lot of time searching. So you can use, this is a different T code from you used to know. It's quite longer. 87, I think so, 01. It has a recurring number. Then the last 4 digits is what is different, 3611. I remember. Click on enter. So this is a report to check our plan cost. So if you want to check for basically just the cost center we created, you can also check for the group. But I want to see my plan cost for this guy. I can go to execute. So now you see that what I have for a year is this. No actual. No actual. What I only have here is plan cost. My variance is still the same because no actual has come, and my variance is 100%. If you want to see this in more details, you can double click on this. That's my reports. Let's double click on this. Go to breakdown. You can see period breakdown, or you can see your cost period breakdown. You double click on that, it will show you the breakdown here again, because what is showing you here is annual. But what I want to show you is that from this report, you can see that we don't have any actual yet because we have not done actual costing. What we have done is just the planning, and it's showing you for the year, this is what we have. So let's now go and post the actual cost. I'm just waiting for this. So you can see January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So I won't close this because I'll still need to come back to this report. So now, how do we post actual? Actual is actual. Is we have been using FB60, so you still use the same FB60. And since it's tied to, we can tie it to a vendor, we can tie it to GL, whichever one we want, but let's do GL. You can use FB50. Select the date. So everything will sit in October. Then we'll say employee annual employee training cost. So that's told us to now watch. I'm going to tie this cost to the GL we created for employee cost. Of course, this will be debit, and we spent from our bank. You can also use vendor if you want to use, and this is credit. We spent for the month, for this period, we spent around 750,000 for this training. 750,000. Now, if I try to save this GL is tied to a cost. Automatically, it should pick a cost center here. If you go down here, if you look for cost center, see, it has not picked yet. If I click on simulate, okay, this is telling me that this requires normal. Our bank requires description, always asking for that. So you can say employee. If you didn't create it like mine, yours will not be asking you. So let's check again if it has picked. So you see the cost center, automatically the system has picked this cost center employee for this GL. So that mapping we did between GL and cost center, anytime we're posting anything to this GL, automatically to pick this cost center. The mapping, if you don't map it, then you always come here to select the cost center yourself. And the system will also give you an error. So it's very important you follow the steps. So I will simulate. And remember, I posted to the GL, the cost, employee cost, and I will post. So, so I think on the 8th again, this is on the 10th, on the 6th, just to give us some flexibility. We paid again. Well, let's use vendor now, so you don't think it's just for GL. If I go to FB60, select the vendor, select the date, and change this one to another date still in August, but let's say 6th. Then I'll use this one as 300,000 or 250. I don't think it will. Employee cost, employee training. It can be in another month or whatever month it is, it's fine. 4002, which is our employee cost. Mainly you select this and put 250. Click on enter. Vendor. Why did I? This is not my vendor. Where is my vendor now? Sorry, guys. This thing picked up something else. Beja 29. Awesome stuff. So it looks good. If you check again, if you go to cost center, you should see employee. So you see employee is picked, business area is picked, cost center is picked. Simulate and post. So we have actually posted this. Now let's go back to the report. If you go back to the report, you see there's no actual here yet in no month. If you check, I think we posted this in August. August also doesn't have. But go back to reports, go out. Yes. Go out. Yes. And run the report again. Just execute again. What do you see? You see now that for the year, we have only spent an actual cost of 1 million. for the year, but we have a planned cost of 16 million. The variance is 15 million, and this is the percentage of variance. Let's go into and see more details. So double click on the amount, go to um, period, cost centers, period breakdown actual. Use this one, double click on it. So it gives you the breakdown. So if you check the breakdown and come down to the month of August, you're going to see now that in the month of August, we have spent 1 million. If you double click on the 1 million to see the actual line, so go to say, okay, what made up this 1 million? It will tell you that this 1 million was made up of 750,000 that was we used for employee training and another 250,000. This was from a vendor. This was from cash on hand. If you go back, the yes. So this is monthly. Go back. It should also give us our planned cost for the month. Let me see if another report we go. So this is annual. Let's check if that. So you can check all these reports. We can see breakdown as per this by business, by partner. Let's see actual line items. So these are all reports. Okay, this is what we just saw now. Then you can check, double click, you can check planning overview. Okay, so this is just showing us the employee cost, of course, what we plan for, nothing much. Then I think cost center per line item. Okay, we don't, this is tied to activity type. Okay, so the more we post, the more we are going to see. Then let's go to the other report that will show us the run actual and variance probably on a monthly basis because this one is giving us annual. If we still use the same T code, but change the, I think the last 4 digits or so, 3640, click on enter. No. Sorry. I need to put /n. So this report is period breakdown, actual and plan. I only have one cost center, so it's fine. Then click on execute. So I've showed you now. This is the one that will show you monthly. If I come down, you can see that for August, I've spent 1 million. The actual cost in August is 1 million. The planned cost for August is 135. The variance is 33355, and my variance percentage is this. So for this example, you can replicate what is here. So use this one, create this as, so you can see that if I posted 650,000, what will be here would have been 650,000. Then you see the plan. So what I want you to do is use this example and plan for all these costs, post this as actual, plan with this. Remember, multiply times 12 so you can see every month, or use only 1 month, August, and use one figure, depending on what you want. Then post this as the actual, when you go to FB60 or FB50, post this as the actual level. You can spread it by month. No, if you want to enjoy the report, you can spread that figure from multiple months. So you can see the effect if you use only 1 month. But if you use 1 year, then you can put everything in 1 month. Then, of course, it will show you the variance. So exactly what is on this sheet, I want to see it on your breakdown. So we have 2 reports we used. We used 3611 and 3640. Then please export this report to me because I want to see it. So export, you can go to send. So when you go to report, go to send. No, sorry. Let me use. So go to edit. You can add. Where's my Excel? Import print. Okay. Let me see if you do want to convert to. No, no, this will run a spool. Sometimes SAP puts a lot of. Okay, you can send me a screenshot. Screenshot is fine. Let me not stress you out. You can just send me a screenshot of this. You can snap it and send it to me. I'm also seeing if you can export this now. Normally, if we go to send, it should. It's trying to create all this, but put an email. And I don't want to stress. Go to documents. Mm, mm, Okay, Excel. Okay, export. Go to edit. Let me see if export works. It's not coming up. Okay, I think we can. So basically, do a screenshot for me and send. Please share it in the group. I want to see, and like I said, exactly what is here. Use this expense analysis. Don't go and use actual. These ones are breakdowns. You can try this much later when you're free. But use this expense analysis. What you have on your SAP as per planned, actual, and variance, and this percentage, I want to see it exactly replicated here. Planned, variance, and this percent. They should all be the same. Let me see if we have any questions. Yeah. Sure, you can move the cost around, spread it monthly so that when you're reporting, you can see the beauty because that's if you check here in the sample, the cost was actually spread around. So what you have as actual was a combination of things that happened from different months. So if you want to do that, just make sure that your total is what it is. And if you're spreading, then it needs to be on one line. You need to use August. If it's August, then you need to use August. But the most important thing is just give me the report that explains this. I want to just see it. Whatever you do, let it just be in this, basically in this format. Any questions? Any other question? Okay, raise your Cornell, please, so we can go.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm this, right? Because I was confused a
Okay.
little bit when you were creating that employee GL.
Okay.
So it looks just okay. The question is for some
What
of
is
us
it?
that have created GLs already, we don't need to
Okay.
create separate GLs for cost centers. We just need to create cost centers and map those GLs to the relevant cost centers that we want. Is that correct?
No, no, it's not correct. Can anybody answer that? Why it's not correct? So let me show you the difference between the two GLs.
Okay.
It's not,
Okay,
and I was saying it's
just to follow up on that, right? So if I create the
no problem. Let me
GL,
let me. It's fine. It won't work. The GLs you have created will not work. Let me show you why and what the difference is. So if I go to FS00, the GL for cost center is different from the GL for normal operations. Now, this is the GL, this is the first GL I created, 4001. You see, it's called logistics expense. If I go to control data and I come, first of all, it's created as non-operating expense.
okay, yeah.
Second of all, it is not mapped to any cost element. In the bottom here, you won't see the field for primary cost element.
Okay.
So this GL will not even appear. If you go and map, it will not even show. If I go to OKB9, for example, let me show you what I mean. If you don't create it well, it will not even show, talk less of you adding it. So don't start saying, oh, I created, I didn't see it. But go to slash Okay, Bina was that place I did the mapping. Okay, Bina, I'm just using the T code now. So you see now that if I go to my socks, if I want to add a new one, if I come here, you won't see, if I go to socks, you won't see 4001. It will not even show because it was not created as a cost GL.
Mm.
Do you understand?
Mm.
Now, what's the difference? Sorry, what's the difference? If I go to a cost GL, let me show you what the difference is. Now, this is a cost GL 4002. Enter.
Okay.
The difference is when you're creating a cost GL, first of all, the GL type must be primary cost or revenue, not non-operating expense.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I get it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, it must be primary cost and revenue. And when you go to bank or interest, it is a required field you must provide. You must provide the cost element field. Sorry, control data. You must provide this cost element field at the bottom. This cost element category is required. So this
Okay.
is what will qualify this GL to be used as a cost center or to be mapped. If this is not created like this, you won't even see the GL to map because in the system's eye, the GL is not created as a cost center. Just like reconciliation account, if you don't create a GL as a reconciliation account, you won't see it in customer and vendor master data to select
Mm.
because these accounts, these GLs are sensitive and they are used for specific purposes.
Okay.
You're fine now, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Ike, your question, please.
Yeah, when I was creating GL, if you recall, I very earlier asked the same question.
Have you have the answer?
Yeah, to do this, I created two types of cost GL, one non-operating and one primary cost and primary revenue. So which is requiring this cost element to be activated before the GL will be
Used.
created. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you use a cost GL, and you don't map it and you go and create a journal,
You can't
the
post to
system will,
it.
yes, you can
It will
post
request you to put
a
the
cost
cost
center.
element on it.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's the difference.
Without
That's
an
why you had
assignment.
that. You
Okay.
said?
Sorry, Kelechi, one more.
Yes, without an assignment. Yes, without an assignment. Vera, correct.
A follow-up question, please. So when you see that other field status group, sorry, the field status group under if you're creating GL,
Yes.
I note so it looks like the one you use, the cost accounts, this
Yes.
cost account should be for um should be for cost center GLs. Because, okay,
It's not tied to cost. It's for anything that is cost.
okay, anything that is, but okay, the question is, I wasn't able to use it for the general ledger GLs
You can. You can.
because when I selected it, I couldn't post into it.
Okay. You couldn't post into it.
Yeah, that I could post into it, so I started using the
G001.
69.
Okay. Okay. Well, we can test it, but I've not had that.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a required field that this cost needs. There's a required field that it needs that you were not provided. Um, so, well, it's fine. You
Okay.
can decide to go through that route that if we're creating cost centers, use cost accounts. If you're creating normal GLs, use general. That is fine.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the essence of the field status is not tied to any kind of account. It's just there depending on how you want the field to respond when you're posting transactions. That's the use. That's why you can use general for basically anything. But inside general, there are there is a field specification, and if you're not using the right field status, then you won't enjoy that limitation that field requires. So it's fine if you say that is what it is, then no worries at all.
Okay.
If you want to also use that approach. Okay, so thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, Kelechi, one more thing I would like you to do next time. Please, next time, I would like you to post one of the transactions involving a check, a bank check. I want to see how this bank check is handled in SAP.